Hey everyone, Matt here from Docs Running, and today we're going to do a 100-mile review of the ASICS Megablast. Now, the Megablast is a new part of the Blast series, including the Sonus Blast, Super Blast, Nova Blast, all this stuff that I'm losing track of. This is the lightest one in the series, from what I understand, and it shares a lot of similar things to the Super Blast while still not having a plate. Kind of the biggest things that it has is a new updated midsole called Flight Foam Turbo, which I've actually really enjoyed. We'll talk about it a little bit. Redesigned upper and kind of meant to be still that super trainer feel, but still be just a teeny bit lighter. And I've honestly enjoyed this more than any of the other Blast shoes, including the Nova Blast, because foam's done really well. Durability has really been phenomenal. Fit's a little bit weird, we'll talk about this, but the whole purpose of this review is to talk about who this shoe is best for, how it works over 100 miles, what the durability is like, and give you a little more information on that. So as always, we're gonna start off in my men's size 10, which comes in at 234 grams or about 8.2 ounces, making it 0.4 ounces lighter than my pair of Super Blast 2. So already really, really good there. Stack height is obviously high, 45 millimeters in the heel, 37 in the forefoot for an 8 millimeter drop. So definitely kind of fairly consistent among the ASICS lineup in that super trainer category. There is no plate. This is very stiff, unlike the Super Blast, though it didn't bug me initially. It's got a really nice rocker platform, and one of the best bevels that I've seen in the ASICS lineup, especially within this series. I have felt the Super Blast 2 to be a little clunky. This one was absolutely fine. There's still a little posterior flare, but this new foam breaks in really, really well. As I said, the Flight Foam Turbo Square isn't the softest foam out there. It's very responsive. There's a lot of bounce to it, but soft it isn't. It's just like got a touch of firmness, good amount of compression and a lot of bounce, but not something that I would categorize, again, as I said, as overly soft, which makes it really good for easy runs. It makes it a little bit more stable, and we'll talk about that, but it also makes it really snappy and versatile over a variety of paces. This has been my go-to long run shoe. That's how I got 100 miles on it so quick, but I've used it for short intervals on the track, long intervals on the track, a fartlek, a tempo run, and tons of easy runs, and it really does all of them well. It does long runs and easy runs the best. I will say trying to get it to go super fast on the track wasn't its best thing. It can do it, but it just too large and doesn't respond as quick as I would want some lighter shoes to do, although it's still light, obviously. The tempo run was really good. It wasn't, again, as fast as I could push some super shoes, but it did a good job there. But the long run, especially up-tempo long runs, this shoe will just click miles off, and it'll feel comfortable and the same from the first mile to the last mile. It's been really, really good. And the midsole is actually done similar, where this foam, the second I put it on to 100 miles now, has felt really consistent. I really haven't felt a lot of breakdown or loss of bounce from the sole. It's why I keep reaching for this, because I know I can trust it and know what I'm getting on a long run. So the sole seems to last quite a bit. The outsole, this is always a true test, has done really well. I was so nervous that I was going to rip this off, but there's barely some scuffing here. This thing is holding on. I will get more miles because I do like this shoe and see how it does longer, but outsole's holding up great. I have kind of scuffed off the ASICS grip here, but grip is also really good on both wet and dry terrain. I would not take this on trail. I know some people would love to, like David, but for me, there's too much exposed of this foam here, so it's gonna get torn up. So I haven't done that out of fear. Just keep it to smooth man-made surfaces. You're gonna be fine there. But really, really nice, slightly firm, but bouncy and responsive midsole that can handle a variety of efforts. And I honestly think this shoe is a great example of what most people should look for a distance racer. Most people don't need a super racing shoe. They need a super trainer, right? Because it's got a little bit more, you totally get super foam, all this kind of stuff. But most people aren't really gonna be able to handle a lot of the super races well. They're really aggressive, and they're designed for much faster paces than most of us really can hold over those long distances, sometimes even shorter distances. Shoes like this, these super trainers, are great distance racers for the majority of people. This is the kind of stuff people should be looking at. It's protective. You can get tons of miles on them in training to figure out if you like them. They can handle tons of long runs. It will go with you through a training cycle to go, can you handle this? So this is a really good example of a great shoe for also marathon racing for a lot of people, just because Smooth ride, very well rockered, responsive at a good variety of paces, but really handles long efforts very, very well. The other thing I will say is it is also stable. I will put it in the stable neutral category. Really, really wide shape here. Some mild sidewalls. The sidewalls are not as aggressive as the Super Blast 2, so if you want a little bit more kind of guidance there, Super Blast might be better, but it's also a little bit stiffer. This shoe does it well. I haven't had any issues with it, but it's not overly stable or overly aggressive like the Super Blast 2. So if you need a little bit more, this one might not be enough. It may be good for most mileage, but especially going to the marathon, I pushed this shoe into the 15-mile range. I don't do a lot of marathon stuff now. It's been totally fine. My hips get just a tiny bit tired, but it's stable enough just because it's stiff. There's not a ton of flexibility here, and the mild sidewalls are gonna do enough if you need some mild stabilization, but more, you might have to go somewhere else. It still does a decent job of that. So overall, fairly stable without being a stability shoe. And the last part's the upper. Upper's a little bit weird. It's got a good amount of room. It's not the widest upper. It's kind of more normal fit, but there's a good amount of volume here, which is really surprising to me. At first, this kind of feels baggy, and with the first mile, I was like, I don't know if this is gonna go well, but every time, no blisters, no hot spots, no nothing. The upper really disappears on your foot, very nice and light. You do need to be a little bit careful. There is some padding at the tongue here. Tongue is nice and secure, which is great, but the tongue down here is really thin, so be careful how tightly you tie the laces. Up here, there's more padding, so you can tie it more tightly. Here, just be careful because it can put a little bit too much pressure there. And the heel is one of my favorite things. There is a bit of a counter here, but there is tons of padding here, which also, be careful, can make the shoe feel just a teeny bit short. I would go true to size, but this padding back here has done great. My Achilles, I've said this multiple times, have been a teeny bit irritated. This shoe has always been a go-to shoe I know I can use even for long runs that's not gonna bother it because the padding has been really, really nice on my Haglund deformity and doesn't bother me despite having some stiffness here. So if you have some heel sensitivity, the shoe actually might work for you because there is enough padding here. Just so the upper is very thin performance, can feel a little bit baggy, but once you lock it down, it's totally fine. I will agree with Nathan and many, many others. This really is one of my shoes of the year right now. It's not the most complicated thing on the market, which I like. Simple, foam, decent upper, some decent outsole durability, great lighter weight. It's really awesome and demonstrates you don't need to make things overly complicated to have a really, really great shoe. You just need to make sure you do all the parts decently well. So that's 100-mile review of this shoe. Again, I think that a lot of people that want a super racer or a super trainer for racing it's gonna find a great option. If you need a little bit more volume in the upper, maybe not the widest thing, but a little more volume, this is gonna do really well. And a soft heel padding back here. If you want a responsive midsole that can do really well over a large variety of paces, but is also not overly soft, this is gonna do really, really well on a shoe that's basically stable and fairly durable, checks off all the boxes. And it better be durable because it's $225, which things are getting more expensive. Would I buy this shoe? Yes, I absolutely would, just because I'm getting a ton of miles on it. Midsole's durable, so you're gonna get your money's worth if you're gonna pay for that. Really, again, enjoy it. And again, I wanna know, what do you think? Is this just a bunch of hype? Am I playing into the hype? Or have you tried this? Are you curious in this? I have not gotten along with the Sonic Blast. It really bothered my Achilles, and just it's heavier and it hasn't been the shoe that's really grabbed my attention, but this one has. In my opinion, even though there's gonna be a Super Blast 3, I like this better than the Super Blast 2. So we'll see how those things go, but please let me know in the comments below. What do you think? What do you think about this shoe? Is it being overhyped? Is it justified? Have you tried it? Let us know, because the goal isn't to sell you a shoe. It's to help educate you and get you some other ideas there. So if you can put your thoughts below, it will help others to figure out, is this shoe worth looking into, or should they move on from this? Because we really want to help you stay healthy, not get injured, put the right things on your feet, or the better things on your feet, because we're not even sure if there is truly a right, and get out there and enjoy what's supposed to be a simple sport.